Nonprofit Encore Careers by Susan J. Kruppauer, University of Minnesota student. In 2011, the first wave of baby boomers turned 65 years of age, and by the year 2030, over 20% of the state of Minnesota's population will be comprised of older workers. This trend means boomers aren't retiring, they're staying in the workforce longer and are not content to just be doing their job, waiting for retirement. According to the Minnesota Department of Human Services, the next 50 years, the most growth in Minnesota's population will occur in persons over the age of 50. By 2020, Minnesota will have more retirees than school-aged children. However, a huge percentage of older workers in their 40s, 50s, and 60s are dissatisfied with working just to earn a paycheck. They are actively searching for ways to positively impact their communities, gain personal satisfaction while still earning a living. On the other hand, Minnesota nonprofit entities are being forced to accomplish more with fewer and fewer resources. They are aggressively seeking talented candidates to work in the nonprofit sector, but efforts to recruit and retrain high-quality candidates is difficult at best. There continues to be a gap between the available nonprofit positions and qualified candidates to fill them. More specific to the fiscal concerns for the state of Minnesota, the predicted shortage of qualified and talented workers to replace the boomers as they continue to retire will strain the economy and the state's standard of living as boomers move from net tax contributors to recipients of public resources. For these reasons, it is advantageous for the state of Minnesota to sponsor programs that will match up the employment needs of Minnesota nonprofits with the desire of Minnesota older workers to find purpose in their Encore careers. An Encore career is defined as a new profession entered into during the second half of life. For these reasons, the following report will identify the methods and research that was conducted, our main results as to what the research showed, and discussions for what the results are showing for the gap between Minnesota boomers and nonprofit organizations. The questions that helped shape my research are both broad to older workers and more specific to the nonprofit sector. One of the more broad research questions was, did boomers surveyed know the definition of an Encore career? Did they ever consider pursuing an Encore career with a nonprofit organization? I wanted to get a feel for the attitude and mindset of these older workers before I specifically researched nonprofit needs. I also conducted a short survey of people that were over the age of 40 and currently employed. This was to gather their opinions on the concept of Encore careers and to discover whether they'd ever considered working for a nonprofit organization. It included questions such as what would be a barrier to entry when considering work in the nonprofit sector, also what were their overriding goals and what steps they thought needed to be taken. The huge percentage of older workers are dissatisfied with working to just earn a paycheck. As baby boomers and Gen Xers enter the last half of their working life, they are actively searching for ways to positively impact their communities and gain personal satisfaction from their jobs while earning a living. A study by Encore.org conducted over 1,000 phone interviews and over 2,500 online interviews with people between the ages of 44 and 70 to give input on their level of interest and reasons why a worker might consider entering an Encore career. More than half of those interested in Encore careers indicated they were extremely interested or very interested in working for a nonprofit organization. Because of this trend, I thought it would be a logical step to assume older workers searching for a career would be interested in also working in the nonprofit arena. However, this research trend does not seem to be occurring in practical application. As of August 6, 2013, the job board at the Minnesota Council of Nonprofits had over 1,100 full and part-time active job listings, which didn't even include volunteer or internship opportunities with these same entities. It appears that a significant percentage of older workers whom state they're looking for more significance in their careers are not even considering positions in the nonprofit sector. In order to gather more specific data, a survey of people over the age of 40 was taken. This was drafted to get an idea of what older workers thought about pursuing an Encore career and whether they would consider a career in a nonprofit organization. The survey showed that out of 35 people surveyed, 28 of the respondents did not currently work for a nonprofit. However, over half the people surveyed indicated even though they were not currently employed with a nonprofit organization, they had considered working for one either now or in the past. To gain a better understanding of why these individuals were not working for nonprofits, they were asked to rank by importance 5 possible reasons why they were not willing to consider working for a nonprofit. Over 60% indicated that the number one reason they not considered working for a nonprofit is because they believe a nonprofit organization doesn't pay a competitive wage salary as compared to the for-profit sector. This common assumption does not correlate to actual data regarding wage disparity between the for-profit and nonprofit industry. As of 2009, Minnesota's worker wage gap had closed between nonprofit and for-profit entities. For many years, there has been a general assumption that the job with which you make your living and your philanthropic aspirations must be two separate silos in your life. As we can tell, trends are converging to redefine traditional patterns of work and retirement in our society. These trends in Minnesota include longer life expectancies, a shift in the financial risks of later life from employers to individuals, and increased interest by many baby boomers in continuing to work. Encore works not only to find work that gives greater meaning to their lives and provides them with sense of accomplishment, but they earn a comparable wage as well. Due to the baby boomers' demand for new and significant ways to make impact and earn a living, the state of Minnesota workforce programs should be evolving to fit these needs, as they are the needs of the majority of the over age of 40 workers surveyed. Nonprofits hunting for talented workers to join their organizations and make contributions to our overall quality of life should be a top priority for the Minnesota Governor's Office, because at the current time there is a disparaging gap between the needs of nonprofits and the desires of our aging Minnesota workforce. Based upon what we have learned in our research, it is our recommendation that the state of Minnesota consider allocating resources to programs that will both educate the Minnesota baby boomers about Encore Careers and also promote positions in the nonprofit sector that will provide both income and job satisfaction for this ever-increasing Minnesota population demographic. Thank you.